Hi all, very good evening. I'd like to start about or talk about the interviews and my interview experience. Prior AI revolution, recent revolution, when you submit a resume, the initial screening will be done by HR, that is a human HR. They will pick up the keywords which the project team required, and then they will either select the resume or reject the resume. But nowadays, post AI evolution, the initial screening of resume is done by artificial intelligence. So the artificial intelligence, it scans your resume, it looks for the keywords, and then it either accepts your resume as it fits the requirement or it rejects your resume. You can send across n number of times resume, but initial screening itself, the AI will predict and detect. I like to talk about my interview experience. Earlier, during interview, the interviewer will ask you questions. That is the first level of round. He will understand whether you have really worked on the technology or you are talking based on the study materials or any external training. I like to talk about my interview experience. I have worked in Terraform 10, 11, and 13 version. When I worked in Terraform initially, we just had 5 to 7 or 5 to 10 commands, or basically 5 commands, because that was at the evolution stage of Terraform and cloud computing, AWS. With AWS minimal services and with Terraform minimal commands, we provisioned infrastructure in cloud. As we discussed in the earlier videos, using Terraform, we provision the cloud infrastructure resources. Terraform plan is a command which lists out what are the things that you have specified in the main.tf file and site.auto.tf vars. It will give you the skeleton of what's going to get provisioned. Once Terraform plan lists this out, you will be applying this command, Terraform apply. It will create a file known as Terraform state file, which is very, very important. Terraform state file is created post you hit the Terraform apply. Terraform state file will store the resources that it created in the cloud. Any modification you do in the infrastructure will automatically be revert or revoke because the state file cannot be modified. The resources which is present in the state file is a replica of the resources that got provisioned in the cloud infrastructure. This is one point. The second point, in DevOps role, many, your team members or client will be working along with you in the state file. They will also use the access key and secret key and create various resources. But how will you maintain the state file? That is a question. The state file will be stored in bucket. Is it in AWS? It's S3 bucket. In Azure, it can be blob storage. How you will differentiate the state files? You can enable versioning in the S3 bucket. That's how you can identify your state files and other state files. Okay, now you have created infrastructure, state file got created, and now you want to modify the infrastructure. You need to add something. For this, you have a command known as Terraform import. Using this command, you can import modules and you can import resources inside the existing infrastructure. Terraform import resource identifier or module ID followed by the value. This is about Terraform. Terraform state file should be highly secured. So public access for the S3 bucket should be restricted. This is a key point here. Regarding my interview experience, I answered all these questions and then we discussed about various architecture diagrams. I came to know one thing, that is everyone of the organization post revolution or evolution of artificial intelligence is moving towards a rigorous automation. I have I had an idea or I have an idea because it's my idea of automating the 24 bar 7 jobs using API, ServiceNow, Ansible. We can automate the patch management, which is done by the human system. We will talk in detail about this in my next video. I'm shortly going to bring one of our star performer in the startup which I work for. He will be talking about Kubernetes, Prometheus, Grafana, how to configure Grafana dashboard for Kubernetes, and how to configure alerts for the Kubernetes cluster. That's that's it for today. Thanks for your time. Have a nice evening. Bye.